Hi, hello everyone. This is RK. Welcome back to my channel Byte Code with RK. If you are new to my channel, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. For more videos, click on the bell icon so that you will get notifications. In today's session, we will see functional interfaces. Anyway, we have covered functional interface definition and some of the predefined functional interface in previous sessions. So in today's session we will see the functional interfaces deep dive. What is functional interface? A functional interface is an interface which having single abstract method and can have any number of static or default method, which means it having only one abstract method and any number of default or static methods is nothing but a functional interface abstract method. So single abstract method and can have any number of static or default methods. Let's see how we will write functional interfaces in Java. So there is a syntax for the functional interfaces. Okay, so generally functional interfaces can be written like this. Functional interface is like a normal interface only. Let me write a normal interface here for your understanding. Interface functional, okay, and it can have void m1. okay, if we declare any method in the interface, right, that is by default abstract only. Now I have written an interface, name is functional and it having m1 method and it is by default abstract only. So functional interface also similar to this one, like normal interface only. To make this interface as a functional interface, we should write an annotation before this functional interface. Okay, this is the annotation related to make the normal interface into the functional interface. And also we should follow one more condition, it should have single abstract method. Now I have abstract method m1. Anyway, m1 is by default abstract only, and writing this annotation at the rate of functional interface is optional, but it is good practice to write the functional interface annotation, because today you have added one abstract method for this interface and without writing the at the rate of functional interface. Suppose if a new developer comes in the future and because they don't know, right, this is functional interface, if they add directly one more method or something inside this functional interface, right, so this will becomes the normal interface, right. So to avoid those problems, it is good practice to write the at the rate of functional interface annotation before the function interface. So for that only, like syntax, as per the syntax, at the rate of function interface, annotation should be added before the interface, and the interface should have single abstract method, and the functional interface can have any number of static or default methods. So there is no limit in the interface, you can add any number of static or default methods. If you are new to the static and default methods, so please go through the videos of mine. I have already discussed about the static and the default methods in interface. So please go through those videos so that you will get how to write the static and default methods in interface. So for now we will continue on the functional interfaces. So here I am writing default method, default void m2. So I have written one default method and I am trying to write one more. So I have written two default methods. So it will, which means it will allow more than one default method in functional interface. Okay, that actually that is the definition, right? So it having single abstract method and can have any number of default or static methods. So I will try to add I will remove the static and add the static methods also. If we see here, so it was allowing multiple static methods also. So this is all about the function interface. What is function interface, and what is the syntax, how we will write the function interfaces in Java. I hope this is clear for all of you. Let's see other sides of the function interfaces. Function interfaces are introduced in Java 8, and all these function interfaces are available in a package called java.util.function package. And these function interfaces are not due to the Java. Before Java 8 also we have some function interfaces. Okay, some of them are like runnable, callable, comparable, comparator, action listener, so etc. Before Java 8 also we have some function interfaces. They are like runnable, callable, comparable, comparator, action listener, etc. We are not going to discuss on these interfaces before Java 8. In today's session we will cover the function interfaces introduced in Java 8. So after Java 8, consumer, we have consumer is the one of the function interface. 2 is supplier, 3 is predicate, function, unary, access binary. In Java 8 they have added a few function interfaces. Consumer is the one, suppliers, predicate, function, unary, and binary. So far we have seen what is function interface, how we will write the function interface, and some of the predefined function interfaces from the Java 8. So now I hope this is clear for all of you. If you have any queries, please comment below. Now let's see the consumer function interface. Consumer function interface is one of the predefined function interface from the Java 8. Let's start the consumer function interface. A consumer function interface is an interface which accepts single parameter and returns nothing. Interface accepts single parameter and return nothing. Let me open the consumer function interface. As discussed earlier, a function interface is an interface which having at the rate of function interface annotation before the interface, and it should have single abstract. That is the main conditions of the function interface. If we see the consumer function interface, it's having at the rate of function interface annotation before the interface, and it's having single abstract method, that is accept method, which takes single parameter. Accept is by default abstract method only. It having one more method called default method. Now the accept method having single parameter, it takes single object as the parameter. Okay, now consumer having two The first one is the accept method. The second one is known as default, that is and then method, and then method. Okay. Now I'm writing example 1. Accept method 1, right? Instead of button, I can make it as a consumer with abstract method. So I'm trying to create this method. Inside the method, I'm writing the consumer with the generic types like into string, like that. Consumer of string C1 equal to, I am importing the consumer interface and it is available in Java8 package. So generally what the function interface do means it provides the implementation for the abstract method of the function interface. In this case, if you see here, consumer is a function interface. Now we are going to provide the implementation for the abstract method of the consumer function interface. Now I am going to provide the implementation for the accept method. The implementation I am providing is using lambda expressions. Here I am providing the lambda way of implementation. So here lambda style is like parenthesis followed by arrow mark and then curly braces. So since consumer is accept single parameter, if you see here t is the reference type, so that is taking param as input param. That's why I'm passing single parameter here, param1. So consumer takes single parameter and doesn't return anything because accept method is void, so it doesn't return anything. That's why I'm not returning anything. I'm just printing the statement. Consumer abstract, that is accept. To lowercase. Now I'm passing the parameter to the C1 using the accept method. If you see here, I have created a consumer C1 of type string, and here whatever here the 3 lines of code, whatever I am writing here is the providing implementation for the abstract method of the function interface. Here the function interface is consumer. I am providing implementation for the accept method of the consumer. This is the accept method. The entity is abstract method, and this is the accept method. For this accept method I am providing implementation here, and it accepts single parameter, that is nothing but param1. Here consumer also accepting and doesn't return anything void. That's why I am not returning anything. I am just printing the statement inside the consumer C1. With the consumer C1 I am passing some value in uppercase, that is in the bytecode. With RK I am passing in uppercase through accept method. Now what it will do means bytecode with RK will goes to the param1. It will be passed as input to the C1, that is param1. So the value will be assigned to the param1, and param1 internally he converts to lowercase. I am passing here as uppercase. So param1 in consumer C1 it will convert it to uppercase using two lowercase method of the string class. Okay, so let me run this one. If you see, we are passing uppercase letter and then we are getting result as a lowercase. This is with the consumer with the accept method. Now let us see the second method, that is the consumer with the default method. Let's say consumer with the default methods. I'm creating this method also. What is and then method? And then method is like it is the default method of the consumer function interface. So and then it returns the consumer type and also accepts the consumer type. So it will execute the in a sequence. Suppose I have a couple of consumers and I want to execute all of them in a sequential, then we should use the and then method, and it is the default method. First consumer will be executed first, and then after consumer will be executed in the sequence. An example, let me take an example for the with the default method and then method. So I'm taking the same. Instead of string I'm passing here 10 and it is of integer type. To work with the default method, and then I need two consumers references, so I'm creating one more here, C2, C1, C2. Now if you see this one and then method, the default method of the consumer function interface. So for that I have created a method, static method, consumer with the default method. If you come to this method as per the definition of the and then method, so it will f1 and then f2. First it will execute the f1 function and then execute the f2 function. Okay, this is the like a sequential order. First executes f1 and then executes f2. Okay, for that I need two consumer function interface, f1 and f2. If you want to work with more than one function interface in a sequential order, then we use this method. So I am providing implementation for the consumer with the default method. If you see here, I have taken two consumers, that is consumer C1 and then consumer C2, okay, which is of type integer. Both are integer type. Now I have created a first consumer C1, which takes a single parameter and then just multiplying with the itself, the param itself. I am multiplying param 1 into param 2. Okay, so it will give the square of the given param. Okay, and I have created a consumer C2 of type integer. It takes single parameter and doesn't return anything. That's why I am cubing it, multiplying param itself with thrice. Now I am passing 10 as input. Okay, first it will as per the discussion, f1 will be executed, right? C1 here the reference is the first consumer function interface C1. So I am passing 10 as input to the C1. C1 will execute first and give what it will give result. It will take 10 as the input param and it will do the multiplication itself and gives 10 into 10, 100 it will give result. Okay, and next, and then after that this is over. Okay, and the next sequence what we have, C2 will execute next. If we come to C2, it will accept again 10 as input. Okay, so it will multiply internally inside the C2 and give the cube of the number, means 10 into 10 into 10. So we will get 1000. Now let me run this program. See, Z1 first giving, taking 10 and returning the result. Okay, and C2 taking 10 only, but I am doing the cube of it, so it will give 1000. 10 into 10, 10 into 10 gives 1000. So this is about the default method of the consumer. So we can also write consumer with custom objects. Okay, so far we have seen consumer with the generic types like integer, string and all. Now we will see the consumer with the custom objects also. Let me create this method. Created this method. Before that, I would like to see, I have already created two classes. One is the player class, 6 variables declared inside it, that is number, name, runs, 4, 6s and matches. Okay, it's having default constructor, parameters constructor, set, get, match and two string method. Okay, and with this player class I have created one more class, data source. In that I have a static method, that is get data, whose return type, which returns list of players. Inside this get data method I have created a list object with the player as player types, and I have added all the players to the players object, and I am returning the players object. Okay, this is the so I have created a custom object players, and I am adding a list of players in the data source class for the method get data. Okay, now I want to work on this custom object, that is players class. Okay, consumer of list of players. I am creating a consumer of type C1, consumer C1 with a list of players type. Okay, I am just importing the list from the Java8 package, and players. I am importing the custom object, that is players class. Okay, and I am providing abstract implementation of the accept method in lambda style. Okay, I am taking list of params, that is consumer accepts single param, right? That's why I am taking single param, and it doesn't return anything. So I am accepting param 1. I would like to print each player details. For that I am doing param 1 dot stream dot pipelines, doing the pipeline of operations. For now, just remember I'm just using the stream method. So in the coming sessions we will discuss more about the streams and stream methods. Okay, for each dot for each. So if you see here, so far here I have provided lambda style implementation, but here I have written method reference style. Sysout is the class, object is the print stream, and then I am writing the print method. I am just calling directly print method, and C1 dot accept list of players. Data source is the class. From that I am having get method. So data source dot get data means I am just writing list of players. Okay, that list of players only I am passing as input to the consumer. for the consumer with the custom object method. So this data source get data will gives the list of players. So that list of players I am passing as input to the C1 of consumer type list of players. So it was print internally. I am taking that input and then streaming it and then printing each player. Okay, using for each loop, for each loop. Let me run this one. You can see here it was printing list of players. Okay, so far we have seen what is consumer function interface, how we will write the consumer function interface, and what are the ways of the consumer function interface. And also we have discussed abstract method, accept method, and the default method, and then method, and also we have discussed the custom object with the consumer function interface with example. So up to this it is fine, and now you may get a query like when to use consumer function interface. Consumer function is used when we have a requirement like you need to pass a single parameter and you don't want to return anything. In that case we will use the consumer functionals. That is, wherever you have a requirement like we should pass some value and you don't want to return anything, then we should go for the consumer function interface. So this is all about the consumer function interface. If you have any queries on the consumer function interface, please comment below. Now let's see the supplier function interface. Supplier is one of the predefined function interface from the Java8. Let's start the supplier function interface, and it is available in java.util.function package. Supplier definition. Supplier is the function interface which doesn't accept anything but returns something. Okay, which doesn't accept anything but returns some value. Okay, if we see the supplier function interface, let me open the supplier having single method. Okay, that is get method. It was not taking anything but returns any. Supplier is the function interface because it is preceded by the rate of function interface annotation, and it's having single abstract method, that is the get method. Okay, which doesn't accept anything but returns some value. Okay, it just gets a result. Okay, so let me it's having only get method, right? Let me try with some examples on the supplier function interface. SUP supplier with abstract method. Okay, I have created a method and so supplier of type integer as soon equal to, I am providing abstract lambda style implementation, and I am providing implementation for the get method, that is abstract method of the function interface supplier. I need to import the supplier from the package java.util.function package. Okay, supplier does, since I am not passing here anything because supplier doesn't accept anything but returns some value. Okay, return 100. Sys.SUP supplier abstract method, that is get method, and type is get method with the type integer. Okay, integer I am taking s.s1 dot get. Okay, So I have created a supplier reference s1 of type integer, and it doesn't take any value and returns 0 because supplier get method is abstract method. I am providing implementation for the get method of the supplier, and it doesn't accept anything but returns some value. Okay, and returns value 100, and that's why its type is integer. Okay, I'm just calling with that supplier reference. I'm calling the get method without passing anything, so it was not taking here anything. That's why. Let me run this one. So you are passing 10, I am getting 10. Okay, no, so I'm not sorry. So if you see, let me run this one. So I'm getting 100. This is with the of type integer type, and that's why I'm not passing anything, but I'm just writing 100. 100 is printed. That is supplier abstract method. That is not the abstract method, is get, and it is of type integer. Okay, now let me see one more example with the string type. I'm taking the same this one. Now if you see here, I'm just I've created a supplier s2 of type string, which doesn't take anything, but it returns welcome to bytecode with rk as a statement. Okay, this is of type string. Let me rerun this one. So this is about the supplier with the abstract method, that is get method, using get method. Now we'll see the supplier with a custom object. Supplier with custom object. Okay, I have clearly declared the supplier with the custom objects. Now I am defining the supplier with the custom objects. Okay, I'm just taking this statement to me. List of strings. Okay, why I'm taking strings, let me import. Now supplier, I just want to work with the custom objects with the supplier. So I have created a supplier s1, which is of type list of strings. So it means it should return list of strings from the custom object. So if you see here, I have created a custom object players. Inside I have declared 6 variables, that is number, name, runs, 4, 6 and matches, and I have default constructor, and then parameters constructor, list of setter and getter methods, and also toString method. Okay, so with this custom object I have created one more class which having get method of, which is of static method, and it returns list of players. So in this method I have created a list object with the player as a reference type, and I have added all the players to this player object, and then finally I am returning players because its return type is list of players. I have added a couple of players to the players object, and then I am returning that players object. Now I want to return list of strings, means I would like to return the names of the each player from the custom object players class. Let me write this. So I want to return data source dot get data dot stream. Stream is like a pipeline of operations. So we will discuss about the streams in the next session. For now, just remember I am using the stream. map is for the manipulation, like you are passing list of players, right? You are doing some operation on the list of players. Here I am trying to manipulate. What I am doing is I have list each player. I am taking each player, and in that I am only getting e dot get names. Okay, what I am doing is with the map method for each player, in each player e is like each player details it will contain, and it was returning each player a name. Okay, so I am doing manual. I am passing list, I am getting string data. Okay, now what I will do, I have to collect all the data using collect method. Inside collect I am collect as dot to list. So I am collecting and then passing that to the list. Okay, see here I am created a reference for the supplier function interface of type list of strings. So now I want to return list of strings. For that I have taken custom object players, and I have declared variables, private constructors, setter, getter, and two string method in it, and in data source class I have created one more method. Sorry, in data source I have created method get data, which returns list of players, and it is of the static method. And this get data method, right? It is inside the get data method I have added a list of players to the players object, which is of type list of players, and I am returning the list of players here. So what I am doing in supplier function means I want to return list of players, because the return type of the list supplier is list of strings. Means now I want to return list of strings, means I want to return list of players names. So for that only I am first getting the data from the data source, having get data method. So it returns list of players, means I am taking list of players and I am streaming it, and then doing manipulation with the method. Each player I will take from the player I will get only the name of the each player. Okay, and then I am collecting using collect method, and then collector start to list I am converting into the to list using collectors class. Okay, so we will discuss what is stream, map, collect and collectors in the upcoming sessions. So for now just remember we are using these things. Okay, let me run this one. So if you see here, I have MS Dhoni, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Shubham Gill, KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, Dinesh Karthik. Like it was written list of players names only, not the entire players. Okay, this is the way of implementing the supplier with the custom object. So far we have seen what is supplier and default method, get method. Now you will get a doubt like when should we use the supplier function interface. Supplier function interface can be used in a scenario like where you don't want to pass anything but you want to return something. In that case we should go for the supplier function interface. This is all about the supplier function interface. If you have any queries on this supplier function interface, please comment below. Now let's start the predicate function interface. Predicate is the one of the predefined function interface from the Java 8. Let's start the predicate function interface. Predicate is one which accepts single param and returns boolean value. Okay, if you see the function interface predicate, the predicate also preceded by at the rate of function interface annotation, and it having abstract method, single abstract method test. So from the definition it accepts predicate is the function interface which accepts a single parameter and returns boolean value. Okay, so it accepts any type of the any type of the input, but returns a boolean value that is either true or false. Okay, let me see any other so predicate having in default method end, and also it having negate. Okay, and also having or. So it having a single abstract method and having many default methods. Yeah, static methods also we have is equal static method, and not also static method. So predicate having single abstract method and three default methods. Abstract method is test, which accepts single parameter and returns boolean value, and also having three default methods: end, negate, or end, or and negate are the three default methods, and two static methods. One is equal method and second one is not. So let's see how predicate works. Predicate with test method. Okay, predicate with test method I have created. So predicate, here I am taking string of type predicate equal to p creating as a string, and it is of type a string type. So I am providing implementation for the test method in lambda style. Okay, now if you see here input, so here I am passing param1, param1 dot starts with or not. I am checking. Okay, string dot test. Here I am creating a predicate string which is of type string type. So here I am providing abstract implementation of the test method, so in lambda style. Okay, this is a way of representing the functional abstract method of the functional interfaces in lambda. Okay, so now when I call this string dot test with Java as a string, it will come to, so this Java will be passed as a parameter. With the param1 we are checking whether this string whatever param passing, right, that param starts with j or not. So Java starts with j only, right, then it is returning boolean value. Okay, it will return boolean value. Let me test this out. So I'm just passing this one. Okay, predicate double colon test method. abstract abstract test method. Okay, okay, now I am running this one. If you see here, predicate abstract test of returning true, because I am passing Java as a string to the test method, abstract test method. So in predicate it was checking whether this param passing, whatever param I am passing here Java, right. So param checking with whether the param starts with j or not, means that string starts with j or not. So it was starts with j only, Java starts with j only, right. So param1 is returning true. if you see the output, you can see the output here, it is returning true. If I put as some other statement w or some w, then let me rerun this one. So it was returning false because Java doesn't starts with w, right? So it is returning false. Let me try one more with a different data type. Here I am taking integer, and it is integer and a param greater than 18 or not, I am checking. So instead of string I am passing here 10. It's integer, right? I'm running again. So it was returning false because 10 I am passing here, it was checking 10 greater than 18 or not. So definitely it will return false because 10 is not greater than 18, right? So it is returning false. If I was 20, 200, okay. See, now it is returning because 200 I am passing here 200 in the test abstract method. 200 is greater than 18, right? So it is returning true. In predicate we have like abstract method, we have other methods also. Let's see the other methods in predicate. If you see here, we have three default methods: default method and default method negate, and a default method or with default methods. Okay, create this method. Predicate having three default methods. One is end, second one is or method, and the third one is negate method. Okay, so see, let's see one by one. What is the end method? End is the default method of the predicate functional interface. So end method is works like logical and operator. End method returns composed predicate of the current predicate and the other predicate. So it will compose the two predicates, means checks the two predicates values and then returns the value. If any one of the, if the first predicate is failed, then the second predicate will not execute. So, and if the first predicate throws exception also, the second predicate will not continue further. End means end, logical end means
both predicates
should be return true, then only it will return true, otherwise it will return the false. I have created a predicate p, so which is of type string, and it was checking internally whether the passing string starts with j or not. If it is starts with j, it will return the true, else it will return the false value. Okay, creating second one also. It starts with j. Okay, so I have created two predicates of type string, and one checking with the whether the input parameter starts with s, and the other checking with whether the input param one starts with j or not. Based on that, it will return the either true or false. Before this, what is and means? If both predicates returns true, then result is true, else false, fails, false. Okay, so let me implement this one. Spaces out. Now I have predicate 1 and p1, p and p1, p1 p dot end. I am passing second predicate as a predicate 2, and I am checking here test of Java. Okay, now you see here, so end is the composed predicate. If you see here, I have two predicates, predicate p and predicate p1. So it was composing the two predicates and then generating the result. What is the end will do? If the predicate p and predicate p1 both returns true, then the composed predicate of end method will return true. Otherwise it will return. It was first checking the predicate p1 Java, and here I am passing Java that starts with J only, right? So it was returning true. Predicate p1 is returning true. Now it is checking p predicate. So Java starts with S, right? No, it is not starts with S, it starts with J. So P is returning false. But in case of logical AND operation, what it will do means, when both the predicates are true, then it will return true. Otherwise it will return false. Now let me run this. If you see the output, it was returning false because P1 is true, P is false, and that's why it is returning false. Let me change this one to J only. So now P1 also, P also checking the parameter starts with J or not, and P1 also checking that string input parameter starts with JR. Passing Java in both cases, the input parameter starts with J only. Here if right, so first it will check P1 returns true because the input starts with J only, and then it will check with the predicate P. He in predicate P also, inside it is checking the input parameter starts with J or not. Here also predicate P returns true only, and the logical and what it will do, now it will check P and P1, and P is returning true, P1 also returning true. In case of end, both should return true, then only it will return true. Now P and P1 are returning true, then end also returning true. That's why end is called as a composite function, because it is checking the two predicates, right? Let me rerun this one. Now it should earlier it returned false, now it should return true. If you see here, end method is returning true. What is logical OR is the default method of the predicate function interface. It also works on the principle of composed function predicate function interface. So it compares the two function interfaces, two predicate function interfaces, and returns. Logical OR also similar to the end only, but either one of the predicate is true, then it is true, else false. Okay, so if any one of the, it was composed predicate, right? So any one of the predicate is returning true, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. Okay, taking the same predicates P and P1. Okay, so let me copy this one here, and it is OR predicate, and the method also OR. if you see here predicate, here I am passing Java. Okay, Java for predicate 1 and predicate 2. So both cases it is returning true only, right? Because Java input param starts with J only, right? Both starts with J. So in our case R method, if anyone is true, then it will return true. But here if you see P1 returning true, P2 returning, sorry, P1 returning true, then both is returning. But our case, anyone is true, but here both are returning true, then it always return true only. Method is true. If I change this one, this starts with S. Okay, now I am passing Java. The input param 1 is starts with J or not. So since I am passing Java, it starts with J only, it was returning true. Okay, P1 is returning true. Now it will check the second predicate with the Java input. If you see predicate P, it's internally checking starts with S, but Java is not starting with S, so it will return predicate P returns false. But in case of R, either one of them is returning true, then always return true. So P1 is P is false and P1 is false, so 1 is true, right? Then R method will return true only. So let me run this one again. So returning true, because anyone is true, then automatically R method will return true only. So in case of this one, P is false, R is 1. Let me change this one to P1 also to W. Okay, so I am passing Java, and first it will check P1 predicate internal check starts with input parameter is starts with W or not, which is false, because I am passing Java, right? It starts with J, so P1 returning false. Now it will check P also, P also checks param 1 starts with S or not, but Java starts with J, right? So P also returning false only. So in this case, both P and P1 are returning false. Okay, but the condition of R is anyone is true, then it will return true, or else it will return false. Now both are false, none of them is true, or either one of them is not true, then it will return false only. Let me rerun this again. See, it is returning false. Let me see the last one from the default methods of the predicate function interface. Or negate means, negate is the default method of the predicate function interface. So it will negate the actual value, means it will reverse the actual value. Suppose if the predicate is returning true, it will negate that one to false. Suppose if the predicate is returning false, it will negate that value to true. So it was reversing the boolean value. It will reverse the boolean value of predicate. Let me take this statement. Okay, so here we don't need two predicates, because this negate works on the single predicate only. So what I am doing, P dot negate of test of Java. Let me change it to P1. Okay, so if you see here P1 starts with J. I am changing it to J. If you see here, so here I am passing Java, okay, to the predicate P1. So predicate P1 are taking Java as input parameter, and it checks the param p1 starts with j or not. So Java starts with j only, right? So predicate p1 returns true, right? But when I apply negate method to the predicate p1, p1 is returning true only. Since I am applying negate method to the p1, it was changing the true value to the false, means it was reversing the boolean value of the predicate. This predicate p1 is returning true, but after applying the negate method to the predicate p1, boolean value true is changing to false, right? Let me run this one. So false. So this is all about the default methods or the predicate function interface. You I hope this is clear for all of you. In predicate we have static methods also. Static methods. So I have created a static method. In predicate, if you see the predicate interface, we have two static methods. One is not, another one is equal. Okay, let me implement these two. Is equal. Second one is not. As is equal to method is, it compares the input param with the actual value. Okay, I am creating a predicate here. Equal to predicate dot is equal of 10. Sorry, I have created a predicate p, and it is checking, it is comparing the predicate value is equal to 10 or not. Writing this statement. Predicate colon static methods, in that also a is equal method. P dot test of 20. Predicate of type integer, forgot to add integer. Okay, now what it will do means it will check the I have created a predicate p of type integer. So this predicate comparing the test value with the actual value is 10, and I am passing 10 also. So it will compare the passing value with the actual value and then returns the boolean value based on the comparison. Here passing 10 and it is comparing with the 10 only, then it should return true. Let me running again. So equals method is returning true because both are 10 only. If I pass 20 and it is comparing 20 with our 10, which is false, so p should return false. Running again. So if you see, is equal method is returning false. And coming to not is the one of the static method of the predicate function interface. Negates the returned predicate value. If you apply not to the predicate, so it will based on the predicate value, it will negate that predicate value. Let me take the same value and paste here, and this method is not method, right? So I am applying predicate dot not of. So here I'm applying predicate dot not of. What is the predicate? Here created p. So if you see here, the not method, first it will, here I am passing 20 and it was created predicate p which is checking is equal to 10 or not, content is checking 10 or not, but here I am passing 20 not equal to 10, right? Then it should return false, right? Both the content are not same, but if you apply not to this predicate, right, it should return a reverse of the actual boolean value returned from the predicate. So the predicate is returning false, but if you apply not to that predicate, it will return true. And let me check this one, and I'm running it again. See, not method is returning true. Here it is 20, but comparing with the 10 which is not equal, then it should return, the predicate p is returning false. Since you are applying not method to the predicate p, it is reversing the return value of the p false, but you are applying not to the p, it is returning true. So far we have seen the predicate with the test method, predicate with the default mess, and predicate with the static mess. So now we will see the predicate with the custom object types. Data source dot get data stream map equal to, so e not e dot get. So I have created a method predicate with the custom object types. So that is static method whose return is void type. So I am getting the data from the data source using get data method of static method. Then I am streaming it. In that, after streaming, applying the map to get the names, and in that also, and then filtering. So applying the map to get the name of the each player object, and then filtering the players, list of players, by checking the name. Filter dot contains Virat Kohli, then print that one. So filter contains Virat Kohli, then it will print that one, otherwise it will not print anything. Let me run this one. See here, it contains Virat Kohli, that's why it was returning the true. Virat Kohli, printing the Virat Kohli. David. If you see here, I have passed I am checking whether the David exists in the list of players or not. When I pass the David, it returns false. That's why it was not printing anything here. So far we have seen what is predicate, how we will write the predicate, and predicate with the test methods and default methods, static methods, and custom objects. Now you may get a query like, when should we go for the predicate, where there is a requirement like you want to pass some value but you want to return boolean value, then that case we should go for the predicate functional interface. This is all about the predicate functional interface. If you have any queries, please comment below. Now let's start the functional interface. Function interface is one of the predefined function interface from the Java 8. Let's start the function interface. A function interface is an interface which accepts a single parameter and returns the single parameter, which means it takes in single input argument and returns a response as an output. What is functional interface? Functional interface from Java8 takes single input parameter and single output and returns single value. So it will take the single parameter and returns a single value. That is about the definition of the functional interface. Function interface having different methods in it, like one is apply, second one is and then third one is compose, fourth one is identity. Let me open the function interface. If you see here, this function is the function interface which takes input. T is the input for here and R is the return value. So it takes a single input and returns the single value, and it having single abstract method. That's why it was calling it as a function interface. Apply is the abstract method and it takes single input and returns a single value, and also it's having default method compose, means it is composed function, and then it having and then method, and also it's having static method identity. So a function interface is an interface which is having single abstract method and two default methods and one single static method. Applies the abstract method of the function interface. So now we are going to provide the implementation for the functional abstract method of the function interface. That is nothing but apply. Now let me write function. So now I am taking string as a parameter and returning integer equal to take single parameter, right? That's why I am writing in parentheses. I am writing single parameter, that is param1, and also it returns single parameter return param 1 dot length. So I am importing this one. Initially for the function interface, I am passing string as a parameter and I am returning integer value. So passing string and getting integer value. So and it accepts single parameter, right? That's why it was taking param1 and also returns a single value, that is length of the whatever you are passing, the string you are passing as an input. It finds the length of the input string and then returns back. Okay, now I want to call apply method. Apply of byte code with okay. Let me print this statement. You can see CTO function abstract apply method. So I'm rerunning this one again. If you see here, function abstract apply method 14. how it becomes 14. If you see the input parameter 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 10 11 12 13 14, so you are passing byte code with arc as the input, which is 14 characters length. So you are passing string, right? That's why it was taking string as the input parameter, and you are returning 14, right? So it is using integer for return value. So internally it was taking single parameter and returns length of the string that you are accepting. This is with the function interface apply method. Now move to the next method, and then is the default method. So it is a composed function. It will be like execute the first f1 and then execute the f2 function f1. Let me write here I dot e dot f1 dot and then f2. Okay, so and then method is a default method of the functional interface. It will first execute the f1 function and then executes the f2 based on the result provided by the f1. So you first executes f1 and then gives the result to the f2, and then f2 will execute next. The first f1 will be executed and then gives, and then f2 will be executed with the result of the f1. So and then method is if any one of them, either f1 or f2, anyone is failed or anyone throws exception, then other will not be executed. If either of them is failed or throws any exception, then other will not continue further. Function. Now function of integer. Okay, I'm taking means accepting integer as a input and returning also the integer. Test equal to taking input, right, passing param 1 and returning param 1 star param 1. Oh sorry, I forgot to put the return value. Okay, now this function takes single input parameters, that is of type integer, and returns integer of type only. So here you are taking single parameter and I am squaring it, then it will pair 1 into pair 2, it will return the square of it. Okay, I am taking another function plus 10 I am adding. Okay, just 1. Now I am applying the test dot apply. Okay, apply here I am passing 2. Okay, so the first function I am passing 2, so it will take the parameter and square it to 2 into 2 4, it will return integer. For this test reference we are getting 4. Okay, and for this also let me pass here also. Now test sysout I am writing, so sysout. The first function is this one, reference test dot, and then you apply test 1 dot apply of I am passing 2. So this I am commenting because I am passing here. Okay, now what it will do means, first of all let me run this one. First this value will be applied to the test. This is the first function as I discussed, right? Here first executes f1 and then executes f2. So now I am test is the first one. Okay, and then I am executing test1. This is the second one. So first executes the test. So if I pass 2 to this function, it will square it, right? 2 into 2, it will take the 2 and multiplying 2 with the 2, I am getting 4. Okay, first I am getting 4, and then this 4, right? Once I executed this function interface, the result of this one will be passed to the test1. So what it will do, I am passing that result to this test1 as input. Okay, so now the result of the test is 4. Now I am passing the 4 as input to the another method. Okay, now I am passing 4 to the test1 function interface. So it will accepts 4 as a parameter, and then do the manipulation here. 4 plus 10 equal to 14. So the result will be 14 only. Let me change it to 7, because here also 14, here also 14, you are getting, right? There is a confusion. Okay, so now you see 59 we are getting. So initially I am passing 7 for the first function interface. 7 into 7, 49, it will give 49. That 49 we are passing as an input to the second function interface, that is test1. So 49 here I am passing. For 49 we are adding 10 and returning back that one. So 49 plus 10, 59. So the output is 59 here. This is about the and then method. Let me see the composed one. In composed function interface, so it will be like f1 dot compose of f2. Sorry, f1, this one. This is the f1, this is the f2, that is f1 followed by f2 will be executed. Okay, so in case of compose, what will happen? So this will be executed f1, the inside of the composed the parameter of the composed function, that is f1, will be executed first, and then result of f1 will be passed to the f2. I have these two function interfaces, right? So I am using the same only, just I am changing the statement. So now I am passing, and this is the compose method. Now I am passing 4. What will execute in case of compose? Test1 will be executed first, and then it will execute the test method. Okay, so I can say the order of execution of the compose is reverse of the and then method. Okay, first let me see this one. What it will do here, it will go test1 is, this is the function implementation of the test one. So here I am taking input as a parameter 4, and I am doing manipulation like adding 10 to the 4, then it will come 14, and I am passing that 14 of the test1 to the test function interface. Okay, so here it will come 14 into 14, 196 is the result. So 14 into 14, 196. Now you may ask a query like what is the difference between and then and compose? So compose method, and then method first executes the f1 and then gives the result a result of f1 to the f2. But in case of compose method, first execute the this one inside the after parameter, and then execute the before one. The result of parameter passed to the composed function executes the first, and then it will gives the result back to the f2 function. Function dot identity is the static method of the function interface. So identity means whatever input it is taking, right? It will return that input only. Suppose takes whatever input, return the same value. Okay, so it takes the, suppose this identity function takes one as input, means it will return the same one value back to the system. Let me try this one function. So it was taking integer and return also integer, because it takes the integer, it returns the same, right? And that's why identity equal to function dot identity out identity dot apply of 8. This is not default identity, and it is static method. Okay, let me run this one. See, if you see the identity function, whatever you are passing, right, that only it will return the identity function. Okay, so it was here I am passing 8, and the function identity will also returning the 8. The input you are passing is the return value for the function identity static method of the function interface. Now so far you have seen the general data types with the function interface. Now I want to see one example on custom objects with the function interface. Custom object. So if you see here, I have a custom object that is players. It's having variables declared inside it, that is number, name, runs, 4, 6 and matches, and also defined default parameter as constructors, setter, getter, and toString for the same. Okay, and also I have added a list of players to the list, and kept all this data in the get method of the data source class. Okay, now I want to work on this custom object, that is players class function is the interface. It takes a list of players, and return type is list of string. Okay, used a custom, so it takes param1 the param. Okay, it takes single parameter, right? Sorry, param1 dot stream dot ma map. What I am doing here, I am doing the manipulation. Here I received a list of players. I am streaming it. Stream is nothing but a pipeline that operates on the collections classes. So we will discuss deeply about the pipelines in the coming sessions. Just now, for now, just remember, stream is a pipeline. It will operates on the input. It is returns the some numeric values, but we will discuss all these things. So for just remember, stream is a pipeline of operations. Okay, now I am doing the map on it. Equal to, I am reading the list of players. In that players also, I am doing with the map, we are doing manipulation. Okay, map equal to e dot get name. Okay, and then I am doing collect is used to collect the values, and I am collecting collectors dot to list. Before also, I don't want to return all. Let me filter this one. Dot contains ms Dhoni, contains ms Dhoni return bit. Okay, now I'm custom, right? Custom object, right? I'm using. I want to pass custom dot apply of what? I want to pass the get data method because it having list of players, right? Data source dot get data source dot get data. You see here, for a custom object I am taking like a functional interface, I am taking list of parameters. So this is the data source and it's having get data method, that is static method. That's why I am calling the static method with the class name. And get data having list of what? List of players. So in this I have created a list with the player as a object, player type, and I have added list of players to the players reference or object, and I am returning. This returning is from the get data method and it is available in data source class. So data source dot get player means what it will return? It will return list of players. So whatever players I have added to the players object, right? Those all the players will be returned. So now what I'm doing is I am returning, I am taking that parameter, I am doing streaming it, and then applying map. Why I am applying means I want to list out the names of that one. So for that I need to do modify my input, right? To modify that one we will use the map. Whatever you are passing, that is like a list of data. Now I want to get only the names. For that I need to change the my input parameter. For that only we will use the map is used to do some changes or manipulations to the input value. Okay, e equal to e dot get name. So now I am taking your, here you are getting list of players. In that I want I am taking only the names of the each player, and I am in that also I am checking whether the name contains Dhoni, then collect it to the list and return. I am returning that one. Okay, right. For this also custom apply, right? I haven't copied this one. Let me copy again and do it. The identity, this is not identity, this is the custom object. Custom, okay, not static, just custom one. Okay, let me run this one. Now we will see Dhoni contain, we have Dhoni inside. Here I am returning the Dhoni here in players list. If there is a name Dhoni, MS Dhoni, then I just collecting that name into the, I am collecting that name to the list. That's why it was in list. MS Dhoni is in list. Otherwise if you want all the if you are looking for all the players list means let me comment this filter and then I am running it again. See, I have list of players because I am not filtering now with MS Dhoni. I didn't put any filter condition here. I just commented the filter condition and then applied, so that I will get all the players list, means players names here. See, MS Dhoni, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Shubham Gill, KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, Dinesh Karthik, Ravindra Jadeja, Jasprit Bumrah, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Mohammad Semi, Hardik Pandya. So that will be in the form of list. Okay, this is the custom way of doing the function interface. So function, what is function interface? Function interface an interface which accepts single parameter and returns a single value, and it having different methods inside it. The one is the apply method, which is abstract method, and then this is the default method which takes which executes f1 first and then executes the f2. Whereas in case of the third one is the default compose method, which is the default method. It first executes the f1 and then executes f2. The result of f1 will be passed as the input to the f2. Okay, so then what is the difference between f1 and then in compose method? And then we'll execute the function f1 and then executes f2. Whereas in case of compose executes f1 first and then returns executes f2. The third one is the static method, that is identity, which will take the input parameter and returns the same input parameter. Suppose you are passing bytecode with RK as the parameter, it will return same the bytecode with RA as an output. That is the use of the function dot identity and the custom object. So you are passing custom reference. You see here I am passing list of parameters. So sorry, players is the custom object. So I have created the players with the list of means created list of variables inside it, and I have added setter, getter, parameterized constructors, and then toString also. In the data source I have created a get data method which is static, and it is returning list of players. Inside the method get data method I have created a list with the players object and added all the players to that list players list object. Okay, and I am returning that the since it is return type is list of players. Okay, so now I am taking list of players and then returning list of strings, means the name of the taking all the players list, all the data of there, and then only returning the names of the players. So param 1 is the list of players along with all the data of there, and then I am streaming it, mapping it, and then getting only the names of all the players. So after getting the data I am just collecting the data and moving the data to the list. If you see here I am passing data source dot get data whose return type is list of players. That is nothing but I am passing input of list of players. Here it will accept list of players and returns list of string names of the players. So if you see the output, that is what it is returning. Now you know what is function interface and how to implement this function interface, and when do we use, means if there is a requirement like you want to pass a single parameter and you want to return a single value, then you can go with the function interface. If you see here I have segregated all the methods of the function interface into the separate methods. So the first one is the function with the abstract method. So here I have separated apply method into the separate function, that is abstract method. That's why function with the abstract method I have taken, and I just moved that logic to the function with the abstract method. The second one is the function with the default methods. So whatever default methods we have, right, and then method and then compose method. So these are the two default methods. So I have segregated these two methods into the one is composed and the one is the and then method. So these are the two methods. So I have moved those two methods logic into function with the default methods. We have one more method like function with the static methods. I have created the function with static method also. So static method logic, we have only one method in the that is the function identity method. So that is from the function interface. So I have moved that identity function logic to the function with static methods. Okay, and I have the last one, I have created a function with the custom objects also. That logic also I moved to this method. So I have created separate method. Okay, I have written the logic into the function with custom objects logic into this method. Okay, and once let me rerun this one. See, I am getting the same output. Okay, this is all about the function interfaces, and if you have any queries please comment below. Now let's start the unary and binary operator function interfaces. These two operators are from the Java 8. Let's start unary and binary operator. Unary is like an operator that takes single value and returns single value of the same type, which means it takes and returns same data type. Suppose if I have taken the input as integer data type, means that the return value also should be of integer type. This unary operator is available in Java8 package, and it is a software interface of the function interface. Let me see what is unary operator. Unary. Okay. An operator which takes single value and return single value of same type. Okay, and this is available java.util.function package. Okay, this is the first one, this is the second one. Okay, and it is sub interface of functional interface. Okay, interface. Let me open the unary operator also. Operator. Okay, so if you see here, unary is the functional interface because it is preceded by the @ functional interface annotation, and it is having single method, that is identity method, which is a static method whose return type is unary. If you see here, unary operator doesn't have any abstract method. So but if you observe clearly, it was extended by the function interface, which means the abstract method of the function interface becomes the abstract method of the unary operator. So function interface abstract method is apply, and the same abstract method can be used in the unary operator. Okay, so that's why it doesn't have any abstract method, because it gets the abstract method from the function interface because of it extends by function interface. So let me write the methods of the unary operator. Unary operator having, it has two methods. Okay, the first one is apply, the second one is identity. Okay, and it is a static method. Okay, unary operator with abstract method. Okay, so I have declared a method. Now I am creating a method. Okay, unary operator which and which takes single value, right, around 1, and also returns the singular value, but it is of type input type only. Okay, now I am returning 1 star 10. Okay, it is available. Let me import the package of unary operator, which is java.util.function package, and now I am applying u1.apply of, I am passing some value. Okay, 5. This is out. Unary operator abstract method apply. So I am running this one. See, the I have passed integer type 5, it took param1 as integer type because it should accepts integer type 1 and returns also integer type. So I have passed param as integer type, that is 5, and it is multiplied internally, it is multiplied with the 10 and returns the same 10 into 5, 50. 50 is the type integer, so it is returning 50. Okay, unary operator. Now identity function means it returns input value as input value as return result. Okay, so whatever it takes, right, it will return the same. Okay, with static method. Okay, let me create this method. Equal to unary operator dot identity. Okay, so now I would like to pass the value for this. I'm taking this one as this statement, unary static method, and it is identity method. Apply of 5 I am passing. Okay, let me pass 10 here. Now if you see, I am passing 10 as input to the unary operator, which is of type integer, and unary operator reference is u1. For that I am assigning unary operator dot identity. So I am telling identity function, I am passing 10 as input, you pass the result also same. Okay, running it again. See, I am getting 10. I am passing 10, I am also getting the return value as a 10 on. Till now it is fine. We have discussed about the abstract method of the unary operator and the static method of the unary operator. Till now everything is fine. We have seen the unary operator with the abstract method and also unary operator with the static method. Now you may ask, like, when should we go for the unary operator, where there is a requirement like you need to pass a parameter and you also want to return something, and both input and output, that is result, are of same type, then we should go for the unary operator. Now we'll see one more operator, that is binary operator. Okay, binary operator is from the Java8 functional interface, and it is available in java.util function package. What it will do means, it takes two input values and returns single value, but both input and return value should be of same type. It is also sub interface of the bifunctional function interface. So we will discuss bifunctional function interface in coming sections. For now, just remember bifunctional function interface. First, what is an operator which takes two values and return a single value of same type. Okay, almost similar to the unary operator, only unary operator will take single value because it is name itself unary, which takes single value. But in case of binary operator, it takes two. Binary means two values, so it takes two values and returns a single value of the same type. Okay, and this binary operator available in java.util.function package. Okay, package. And third one is, that is sub interface of by function interface. Let's see the binary operator function interface. Okay, binary operator. You open, I'm opening this one. Binary operator is preceded by the other function interface annotation. That's why it is a function interface. And if you see the methods of the binary operator, you don't see any abstract method, but you can see the static methods. One is like min by method and second one is the max by method. Okay, these two are the static methods, but I don't see any abstract method, like, right? But if you clearly observe, these binary operator is extends by function functional interface. So let me go to the bifunctional function interface. So bifunctional function interface having abstract method, that is applies the abstract method of the bifunctional function interface. So it inherits the apply method from the bifunctional function interface into the binary operator. Since it is extended by bifunctional function interface, so the abstract method of the bifunctional function interface will be the abstract method of the binary operator. That is, in both cases we will use apply method. Okay, if you see this one, it takes bifunctional function interface, that is abstract method. Apply, it takes two input values, one is of type other type and other is of the other type. Okay, but returns a value, which means as per the binary definition, binary operator definition, it takes two values. Now the apply function takes two values, one is of type t, another is of type u, and returns single value. And u, t and r of same type, all should be of same type. Okay, so that is the one. Now let us see some examples of the binary function interface. It having three methods. Okay, it having three methods. Okay, one is apply method, second one is min by, third one is max by. Okay, now let's see one by one. Apply, binary operator with abstract method. Okay, I have declared the method and now I am creating the method. So as per the discussion, binary operator of type integer. Okay, bi equal to if you see this binary operator means it takes two parameters. Let me take two parameters, param1 comma param2, and it should return of type param1 star param2. Sorry. So now binary operator which takes two values of type integer, here param1 and param2 are of type integer, and returns the same type of the return value, that is param1 into param2 is nothing but integer only, returns the same value. Okay, why it is taken? Because internally it was extended by bifunction internally uses apply method is the abstract method, and it takes two input parameters and returns single value. See, binary operator extended by bifunction having apply method which takes two input values and returns single value of same type. Both means all are like r, t, u are all are of same type. Okay, this out. Binary operator abstract comma apply method. method ba dot apply. What I should pass 10 comma 20. Let me run this one. If you see here, I am passing 10 and 20 as the two integer values, 10 20 to the binary operator. So it will take two input parameters, that is 10 and 20, and then returns multiplication of 10 and 20 as an integer. Means both input in two input parameters and one return value are both are of types integer. So returning 200 is of type integer. So that is about the binary operator with the abstract method. Now we'll see binary operator with min by method, or else we can make it as static methods with static methods. These are static or static methods only. Okay, I'm creating the method of it. If you see the static method, that is min method, the max will be here. Okay, so I would like to create a list of here, a list of string list equal to array start as list of Java Spring Boot micro services. Okay, now I am creating binary operator of type string, which takes string as input to and returns string type equal to binary operator dot min by, right? This is min by, right? Min by comparator dot natural order. Okay, so I am doing the ba dot apply static min by method. Okay, so 10 comma 20, and I'm changing it to let it be string only. There will be Java Spring Boot. Okay, so now if you see here, I am doing the min by. I have created a binary operator of type string, which takes two input values as a string and returns string as an output. Now if you see here, I took binary operator of a function interface, which takes string as input, that is it will take two strings input and returns string as output. So for that I am applying binary operator dot min. I want to find out the minimum of these two, Java and Spring Boot. So I am doing natural order and then returning. Okay, let me run this one. See, Java I got because Java starts at 10 and Spring starts at around 17 or 18, right? So the first one will be printed. Even if we reverse this one also, okay, we run this one, you got the Java. Same we can apply for the b1. Okay, and it is not min by, it is by max by dot max by. Okay, now I would like to return Spring Boot should return because it is the maximum value, right? Now I have taken binary operator which is of type string, means it will accept two input parameters as string, and I'm applying max by on these two string values. Okay, so it will return a max value of Java and Spring Boot. The max value is Spring Boot, it should return Spring Boot. Okay, let me run this one. You see, the max value is Spring Boot, minimum value is Java, because Java starts at 10 ASCII value, and then Spring starts at 18 or 19. Okay, this is about the binary operator function interface. We should use this binary operator function interface when we have a requirement like we need to pass two parameters and return single value of same type, means both input and output return values are of same type, then we should go for the binary operator function interface. I hope this is clear for all of you. If you have any doubts, please comment below. Now let us start other function interfaces. Other function interfaces are predefined function interfaces from the Java 8. Let us see the other function interfaces. So far we have discussed function interfaces, that is what is function interfaces, how we will write the function interfaces with the syntax, and what are the predefined function interfaces like consumer, supplier, predicate, function, unary, binary, the implementation. Now we will cover other function interfaces from the Java 8. So whatever we have seen is right, that those are the basic function interfaces. So whatever we are going to discuss, right, these are like advanced of the existing function interfaces. So let us see one by one. Okay, the first one is by functional interface. Okay, by functional interface is the first one. The second one is SS functional interface. Okay, SS function interface. Here SS represents the wrapper type, that could be int, long, float, or double, that could be anything. Let me write here only. Here SS represents any data type like int, long, float, double, whatever I am writing before the function interface, which means it could be into function interface. Function interface means that could be a consumer, supplier, predicate, unary, binary, operator function interfaces. Okay, and so I can assume like into, if I take int as example, into consumer, into supplier, into predicate, into unary, into binary operator. Like, let me write a small example on this. Int into consumer, int supplier. Okay, like this we should write the function interfaces. The third one is object obj ss dot ss function interface. Okay, so it was taking the object as input and also ss as an input for this function interface. Okay, let me read the four. We will discuss each one separately. Two, this is functional interface. So 2 into function interface, 2 into consumer, 2 into supplier, 2 into predicate, like that we will write. Okay, the next one is fifth one, ss 2 xx. Okay, function functional interface. Okay, so I am writing here SS and XX represents. Okay, taking SS type and returning XX type. Okay, SS and XX represents the data types like into, long, float, double, and type. Okay, so it was taking input as SS means any one of these data types, and there are returning XX in the sense it is returning any one of this type. This is all about the basic info of other functional interfaces from the Java 8. Let us see one by one with examples. The first one is bifunctional. So bifunctional means the name itself you can understand, right? Bifunctional is the functional interface from the Java 8. It is available in java.util.function package. So bifunctional function interface also an interface like consumer, supplier, predicate, binary. So for those functional interfaces, if we add by before that function interfaces, so it was I am telling here by is and then function interface. So I am adding by before the function interface. Function interface could be anything, right? Consumer, supplier, predicate, binary, all those things will comes, right? So if I add by before the functional interface means the functional interface, whatever the functional interfaces we have so far, right, seen, those functional interfaces will accept extra parameter, means accepts extra input apart from what it actually accepts. Okay, it will accept the one extra parameter compared to the normal functional interfaces. Okay, if we add by before the function interfaces, it will add the extra parameter to that function interfaces. Okay, let me write the definition here itself. It will take the extra input parameter as an input, as an input to the functional interface. Okay, so it will take the extra parameter. Suppose consumer, if we take the consumer, so in case of consumer is a functional interface which takes single input and returns nothing. Okay, but if we apply a by before the consumer functional interface, right, it will accept two input parameters. Normally consumer accepts a single parameter. If we add by before the consumer function interface, it will take one more extra parameter than the usual accepting parameters. Okay, now it will accept two input parameters. This bifunctional interface is not applicable for all the interfaces. Okay, so it will applicable only for the, let me write that statement also. Not applicable for all the functional interfaces. Okay, example, not applicable means it is not applicable for the supplier, and also not applicable for the unary, not applicable for the binary. Okay, this is not applicable for the supplier, unary, binary, but it will applicable for the consumer, predicate, and a function interfaces. Okay, applicable for consumer, predicate, and function interfaces. Okay, so bifunction is a functional interface. So any functional interface received by is nothing but a bifunctional interface. As per the definition, bifunctional interface is a functional interface which accepts extra parameter to the functional interface. So it is a bifunctional interface is not applicable for all the interfaces and applicable for the few interfaces. It is applicable for the consumer, predicate, and a function interface, and not applicable for the supplier, unary, and a binary operators. Okay, Why it is not applicable for the supplier means, if you know the definition of supplier, you will come to know why it is not applicable for the supplier function interface. Supplier means supplier is the one which doesn't take any input and returns something. So supplier itself, it doesn't take any input. Then if you apply by before the supplier interface, right, which is useless. That's why they are not applying the by before the supplier. And about the unary operator, unary also, like the name itself what we will understand, right? Unary means it will accept a single only. Unary means single only. So that's why they are not applying by before the unary. If you apply by before the unary, what will happen? It will take extra parameter. Unary accepts a single parameter and returns a single value, but both input and output should be of same type. So if you apply by before the unary operator means it will take extra parameter. The purpose of unary is defeated, right? The name they have given unary. Unary means single only it should accept. If you should not apply a by before the unary operator. So for that purpose only they have not applied by before the unary operator. What about the binary operator? Binary operator is like already this binary means two input parameters it will take. So already it was taking two input parameters and it was extended by function interface. Okay, that's why it was not applying by before this binary operator, because by function extended by this one, and also it was a binary operator which takes two parameters, right, input parameters. That's why that by function is not applicable for this binary operator. Okay, let us see the example. So bifunctional interfaces. Okay, so I have defined created a method, and now I am creating the method. Okay, let me take example of the bifunction. I am taking function is the interface which takes single input So I am importing the function interface which is from the Java8 function package. Now if you see this by function is a function interface which takes single parameter and returns single value. Okay, here I am param1. Okay, I am writing a statement to apply this one. By function dot apply. So apply is accepting one parameter. Okay, let me run this one. Okay, if you see I am passing 10. Okay, so it will take 10 as an input. Right here I am providing implementation, lambda style implementation for the apply method, abstract method of the function interface. So here I am passing 10, it will take 10 as input and returns the same 10. Okay, nothing much I am doing here. Let me write function. This is like a function interface. Okay, which takes single parameter as input and a single parameter as the output. So it was taking input as a param1 and returning the same param. Now come to by function. So by function can be applied to the existing function interfaces. So function is the existing function interface. I am applying by before this function interface. Okay, so it was available in Java8 function package. I am importing this one. Okay, if you see here by function, T and U are two types of the inputs. R is the return value. Okay, so it should accept two parameters. So let us assume integer 1 and integer 2 are the two input parameters. Okay, input parameters I am adding extra parameter that is of type integer only. Now you see it was accepting. The error here, earlier it was showing red color. It was accepting two input parameters and returning a single return value, right? I'm passing, that's why I'm passing three parameters. I should pass one more parameter here, param2, okay, and returning same only, star param2. It was accepting two input parameters, right? I should pass one more parameter here. I am passing two input parameters 10 and 10, that is param1 and param2, and inside it do the multiplication of two parameters param1 and into param2, that is 10 into 10, it will return 100. okay, by function, let me run again. If you see here by function interface, so you can use like wherever you have a requirement, like you need to pass two parameters and return single value. For that case you can go with the by function interface. okay, let me take the another example of the same. Consumer is the function interface which takes single parameter. okay, let me import the consumer Java8 functional package. It takes single parameter, right? Sorry, consumer doesn't return anything, that's why I am writing this out. I can remove this one, or should I run param1? As per the definition of the consumer function interface, it takes single value and returns nothing, right? That's why I am here in accept method I am passing 10. So I am writing implementation for the accept method in lambda style, that is abstract method of the consumer function interface. So now I would like to add by before this consumer function interface. So if I add by before this consumer function interface, so what it is, I need to import this one first. So still it was showing error. Why? Because so if you see here, by consumer is the function interface which takes two input parameters, but what I am doing here, I am passing one. Why it is throwing error? Because by is the added before the consumer function interface. Earlier it will accept single parameter. Now by adding by before this consumer function interface, it was asking to add extra parameter as input. okay, so that's why it was throwing error. And now I would like to add one more input parameter. Now they are gone here, right? So I should change here also param2, and I am doing here plus param2. Now here also it should accept 20. Now if you see, it was not throwing any error. Nowhere it is showing any error, right? So by function consumer is a function interface which takes two input parameters and returning nothing. I am not returning here, I am just printing the statement, nothing returning. okay, let me run this one. It was taking 10 and 20 as input parameters, and I am doing addition inside it. 10 plus 20, 30 it should return. Let me run this one. So it was returning 30. okay, let me take one more example of the same. I am taking predicate. okay, let me import a predicate. okay, predicate is the one which takes single parameter and returns boolean value. okay, I am taking a predicate of type string. okay, and it should return something inside it, right? Return param1 dot length equal to 14. By predicate, right? So I would like to remove this first of all. I will dot test is the method. Okay, now I am passing bytecode with rk as input. Okay, now if you see here, predicate is the function interface which takes input a single input parameter of type param1 of type string and returns boolean value. So here I am passing to the test method, that is abstract method. So for that I am passing bytecode as an input. Okay, so it was taking param1 as the bytecode with rk, and it was checking finding the length, and length equal to 14, then it should return true. If length is not equal to 14, it should return false. Okay, it should return 14 because I am passing 14 character. Now let me run this one. Now if you see by predicate, it is returning true because I am passing bytecode with rk as 14 characters. It was checking inside param dot length equal to 14 or not. If it is 14, then it will return true. That's why it is returning true. Okay, so now what I will do, I will apply before this predicate by. Okay, what will happen, first import this one. I am importing by function. Now it is still throwing because by function accept two parameters, t and u type. Okay, t and u type parameters, input parameters it should accept. So predicate is the one which accepts a single parameter. If you apply by before this predicate, it should accept two parameters. Okay, now I am adding one more input parameter. Okay, now error has gone here. Earlier it was showing red color, now it is accepting two input parameters, right? That's why here it is not throwing. Here it is accepting two input parameters, right? I should pass one more input parameter here. Okay, that is 2. Now what I am doing, I am checking param2. I am taking two input parameters. I am checking the param1 dot length equal to param2 or not. So for that I should pass extra parameter here. Okay, that's why it was throwing error. I am passing 14. So it was 14, right? Bytecode with rk is 14. I am checking, passing 14 also. So two input parameters I am passing, param1 and param2. Now it was checking param1 dot length equal to param2 or not. Okay, I am running it again. So it was returning true because bytecode with rk is the 14 character length, right? When to use this by function interface means, if you want to pass extra parameter predefined function interfaces, then you should go for the by function interfaces. I hope this is clear for all of you. This is all about by functional interfaces. Okay, let me go to the second one. The second one is SS function interface. Okay, here if you see SS, here is nothing but a wrapper class types like int, a long, double, float, like this. Okay, that could be into consumer, into supplier, into predicate, like that. It like SS means it takes it is applying before the function interface. So I am applying int before the consumer. That's why it is becomes integer int consumer, which means it should as per the consumer definition. Consumer is the function interface which accepts single parameter, right? If you want to pass integer type as input for the consumer interface, then you should use int consumer. If you want to pass as a long, then you should go for long consumer, like this way, double, float consumer, boolean consumer. Like this way we can apply the wrapper type classes before the function interfaces. Okay, so if you write any SS before the function interface means it should accept that as an input type. Okay, let me write an example with this. Okay, wrapper type functional interfaces. Okay, this is the method I want to write. I just declared. Now I want to create the same. I'm taking this one. Int. Okay, I'm just modifying according to the consumer function interface. Okay, and it was not. So I have modified according to the consumer function interface, normal consumer function interface, that is int consumer, right? I would like to, okay, let me run this one. Before applying the SS type, I'm passing 10. Okay, so it was accepting 10 and then printing as per the definition of consumer, which takes single parameter and returns nothing. So it was taking single parameter and it was returning nothing, just printing the statement, right? What is SS? Means SS is like wrapper types. I'm applying SS before the function interface, means applying wrapper types before the any function interface. Now I would like to add wrapper type is like int. I should import this one, int consumer. Okay, now still it is showing even after importing this function interface, int function interface, like a wrapper type for function interface, that is int consumer, it was still showing error. Okay, if you see here, the type int consumer is not generic, it cannot be parameters with the argument int. Okay, so it was telling it is not a generic type because you are mentioning here itself int you are writing this generic type is not required. See here, I just removed the generic type. What it was telling? It was telling the type int consumer is not generic. Why it is not generic? And it cannot be parameters with the int argument. It was telling this integer generic type is not required. Why it is not required? Because you are telling the consumer you should take type of int parameter as an input. Okay, that is the reason it was telling. So if you apply wrapper type before the consumer, then generic type is not required for that. Okay, so I just remove. What will happen? It was taking input as automatically JVM will like understand this is of type consumer function interface, which takes input as an int. Okay, now P parameter P1 is of type int. Okay, that's why I'm passing 10. Let me run this one. So it was int consumer returning 10. Okay, let me change it to double. I should import this one first. I just imported, but it was not throwing error because it was taking integer, it was converted into double. Let me run this one. See, the precision is, you can say, 10.0. so automatically it will convert like auto upgrade, right? That's why it was taking double. Wrapper type consumers are like normal consumer function interfaces only, but you are adding double wrapper type before the consumer. So, and it was telling the consumer it should accept this wrapper type whatever you are mentioning before the consumer, right? Either double into long float to boolean type. So it was telling the consumer you should take the wrapper type as an input and generic type is not required. Okay, so that case you should go for the wrapper type consumers. Okay, and if you see this one, same to the some other function interface like I should take predicate. importing long predicate. Predicate is the one which takes single parameter and returns true or false. Okay, return param 1 equal to 10. Okay, so I am taking this statement outside. And dot test method I am passing 10. Okay, it's a predicate, not supplier. Okay, I am passing 10. It was checking 10 param 10 equal to 10 or not. Okay, just running this one. Predicate 10 equal to 10, that's why it was returning true for the long predicate. Okay, like this we can apply different wrapper types to the existing function interfaces. Like this is all about the like wrapper type function interfaces. Okay, let me see the third one. This is object, it will take object as input and SS as input. So it will take the two inputs. One is object type, another one is SS type. SS is like into, long, float, double, boolean types. Okay, definition is like it takes two inputs of types, and of type object and wrapper type, and returns nothing. So it will take two input, one is of type object and another one is of type SS type. So it will take two input parameters and returns nothing. So returns nothing means if we see our function interfaces, the first one is consumer, takes input parameter and returns nothing. So this is applicable for the consumer function interface. It is applicable for consumer functional interface. Okay, so for supplier it doesn't take anything, right? Supplier is the function interface which doesn't take any value and returns something, but here it should, from this definition, it should take object and SS type as the two input parameters, but supplier doesn't take anything. It is not applicable for the supplier. And then predicate takes as input and returns nothing. As per the definition, it should not return anything, but predicate is returning, right? That's why it was not applicable for the predicate. And it is unary and binary. Binary also takes unary takes single and returns something, but as per the definition it should not return. That's why it is not applicable for the unary. Binary also it takes two input parameters and returns single value. So binary returning value, but definition, as per the definition, it should not return anything. That's why it is not applicable for the binary operator. So it is applicable only for the consumer function interface. Okay, and these interfaces, all these function interfaces are available in Java8 util package only. Object and wrapper type input functional interfaces. So let me take a small example. List of values, that is integer. importing the list with the system. So I have created an object of the list which is of type integer, and I have assigned list of values to the list object. Okay, consumer list list of integer type obj con consumer equal to the object into consumer which takes two input parameters, that is param1 comma param2. So it doesn't generally, consumer is the function interface which takes single input parameter and doesn't return anything, right? So now the object in, as per the definition, object into consumer is the function interface which takes two input parameters and doesn't return anything. Okay, so that's why I'm taking two input parameters. Okay, if param1 dot contains param2, then return param2. Exist. List. Not exist. Okay, list comma 20 object into consumer. Okay, now if you see this example, object into consumer which takes two input parameters, that is param1 and param2 are the input parameters, and integer consumer itself not returning anything, so object into obj into consumer also doesn't return anything. Okay, so it takes two input parameters, one is the list of values. So here I created list of type integer and having values 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. At the list I am passing as the first input type, that is of obj object type, and the second one is of integer type. So I am passing 20 as an integer. So param1 contains list of values, param2 contains the 20. Now in the inside that lambda implementation for the accept method, I am just checking whether the param1 dot contains param2 means, so param1 contains list of values, right? I am checking in the param1 that param2, that is the int value available in param1 or not, using if else condition. So if the param exists, it will return object into consumer, param1 exists, else it returns not exist. Okay, let me run this one. Fiji object into consumer 20 exist. Okay, so it is exist. Suppose I pass 70 and see not exist, 70 not exist. Same thing we can apply for the object long consumer obj double consumer. So like object into consumer, we can also use object long consumer, object double consumer. Object data type consumer function interface. Okay, This is all about the object data type function interfaces. Now we will see, so far we have covered three types of the other function interfaces. Let's see the next one. 2SS means 2SS function interface. Okay. Here two SS function interfaces. Here SS means any wrapper type and a function interfaces means any one of the predefined function interfaces. Okay, so SS means anything like int, long, double, float. Okay, function interfaces means consumer, supplier, predicate, binary, unary function. For this case, right, it is applicable. Function interface means either function or bifunction interfaces for this case only. This definition: a function which takes a single value as input and returns here SS represents int, long, double. Okay, this type of function interface is applicable for the function and bifunction. Applicable for function and bifunction functional interfaces. Okay, this is the first one. This is the second one, and this is the third one, and it is available in Java8 function package. Okay, so let me see the example. To wrapper type functional interface. Okay, so let me create this method. It is applicable for the function and bifunction interface. I am taking function interface. Function interface is an interface which takes single argument returns of type SS. If you are not aware of this one, please go through my previous videos so that you will get some idea on this function and bifunctional function interfaces. Okay, so let me write. Let me take an example. To int into function which takes integer type to int function interface equal to, I'm taking param 1 return param 1 dot. Okay, let me import this one before. So it is available in Java8 function package. I am importing the same. What is this here? Equal to, sorry, dot into value to d function dot apply as an int. Okay, as well as sort to int function. Okay. Now if we observe this function, two wrapper type function interface, so it is of type 2 into function interface. 2 into means it will come, you take the input of type input type and convert it into integer type. Okay. Now the 2 into function interface, I am creating object of reference for object of it, so which takes single, as per the definition of function interface, it takes a single input value and returns some value. So 2 into function also works like function interface only, so it was taking to single input value, but that input value I am converting into value and then returning. So why it is returning integer type means you are telling to the function interface, the return value should be of type to convert the return value to 2 into. So in the interface itself we are telling convert the given input value to 2 into value. That's why it was given as 2 into functional interface. Okay. So I am passing as a 10 and then it was converting into value and then returning. Okay. Let me run this one. You see it was returning 10 only. Like this it will work for too long function to double function and also by function, too long two int and a 2 double by function. So you can try with this you can try some examples on this using different kinds of data types with the functional interface, that is too long function, 2 double function, 2 into by function and a 2 double by function, too long by function. Okay. So when should we go for this one means when you want to pass some value, single value, and you want to convert that into of type SS type, so that case we should go for the two wrapper type functional interfaces. Okay, this is all about the two wrapper type functional interfaces. Let's see one more type, SS to XX functional interfaces. Here SS to XX function interfaces. Here SS and XX represents data types or wrapper types. Okay, a functional interface is like our function predefined function interfaces. Okay, so first define the definition. A function which takes SS as input value and returns XX type. Okay, this is the first point, and it is available in these SS to XX function interface are available in Java8 interface. Okay, available in Java8 function package, and it is applicable applicable to function interface only. Okay, so it is applicable only to the function interface. Okay, here SS represents here SS and XX represents int, long and double. Okay, So this is about the ss2. Let me see an example of this for this type. Let me see example. Let me write function interface of type integer, right, into two long fn function equal to param1 return param1. Okay, so I'm just printing into two long function into two long function dot sorry, here I need to pass long dot apply. So this is like a normal functional interface. So it was taking a single input value and returns the returns the single value. Okay, so for apply I am passing 10. So it was just I am just passing and printing the same. Okay, so returning 10. Okay, let me run this one. So into to long function which takes input as 10 and also returning the 10. Okay, which takes input value 10 and return value also same, because I am not doing anything, I am just returning the input parameter itself. This is the function interface. So now I want to apply ss to xx function interface to the function interface. Okay, ss to xx. So what I am taking as input integer. Okay, so I want to convert integer into, I am converting to long. I am taking input as an int and I am converting it to long. Okay, so into to long like this. Okay, and applying to the function interface. Function interface takes single input and single return value, right? Like this only I am doing. I am applying int too long before the function interface. Then why it is throwing error means it doesn't accept the generic types, because generic types, that is integer and integer of input type and output type, it should not accept. Why it is not accepting or mentioning before the function interface only into too long? So here itself you are telling you take the integer type as input and return the long as an output. Then that case we should not we shouldn't require these generic types. That's why I am removing generic types. Now if you see, it was not throwing any error. Okay, the method is different and long. Okay, into too long, so I am apply as long. So it was telling passing 10 and it was goes to the long. Apply as long means you are converting it to long, right? So that only into two you are taking into, and applying as long means take the input as a 10 and apply it, convert into to long. That is what we are doing here. Let me run this one. So it was returning 10. Suppose I want to make it as a double. You don't see any difference into too long, right? Let me see. Apply as double. Okay, let me run this one. See, you see the precision now. Earlier you don't see the difference, now you can see the difference. It took 10 as input and returning 10.0. that is it was added precision because you are converting it to double, right? We have other types of also. So like this only, this is the function, right? So we have seen into to double, right? We have into to long also, long to double, long to into type, and here double to int and double to long. So these are the other conversion types of the function interface. You try with this other types of the function interfaces. So this is like when you want to take an input type in when you want to take some input value and convert into to other type of data type, then you should go for the function this int ss to xx type function interface. Okay, let me keep all these things in separate method. Okay, wrapper or to other or wrapper type functional interfaces. Okay, so this I'm just moving this entire thing into the separate method. This is all about the other types of the function interfaces. Okay, so we have seen bifunction interface and ss function interfaces, object ss type function interfaces, two ss type function interfaces, ss to xx function interfaces. Okay, this is all about the other types of the functional interfaces.
Now let us start the custom function interfaces. Custom function interfaces are introduced from the Java 8. Let us see the custom function interfaces.
Syntax and how we will implement the custom function interface. When we had a discussion on method references, that time we had a discussion about the custom function interface. Here I am once again giving some short info about the custom function interfaces. Let's start. Normally the custom function interface can be written like this. It is like normal interface only. Let me write interface custom underscore interface underscore name. Okay, and generally function interface having single abstract method, right? That's why I'm writing void m1. This is the abstract method by default, if you write abstract before m1 or not. So it is an interface which having single abstract method, can have any number of, here you have static or default methods. Okay, default methods. Okay, so if you are new to this static and default methods, so please go through my previous videos so that you will get some idea on this. Okay, suppose if any interface is normal interface is preceded by at the rate of functional interface, then we call that interface as the functional interface. Okay, now what is functional interface? A functional interface is an interface which having single abstract method and can have any number of static or default methods. Now if we observe this interface which is preceded by at the rate of functional interface annotation, and it having single abstract method and can have any number of static or default methods. This is like a way of implementing custom function interface. And writing at the rate of function interface is optional before the function interface, but it is a good practice to write at the rate of function interface annotation before the interface, so that everyone understand that this is the function interface. Otherwise they will understood it as a normal interface. So this is about the function interface, implementation of function interface. Okay, this is syntax. This could be example. Let me create the function interface, custom function interface, custom functional interface. Okay, I have created an interface, custom functions. As per the definition of the function interface, it must follow two conditions. One is at the rate of functional interface. So we should add at the rate of function interface annotation before the interface. Okay, and it was throwing error. See, invalid at the rate of function interface annotation. Custom function interface is not a function interface. Why it is not following? Because it is you followed only one condition. Means the interface should be preceded by at the rate of function interface, and second condition is you should have at least a single abstract method. Okay, now this interface doesn't have any abstract method, that's why it was throwing error. Okay, let me write the void m1. Okay, abstract method I'm writing. Now if you see, the error gone. Okay, so these are the two basic conditions of the implementing custom function interface. The interface should be preceded by the at the rate of function interface annotation, and it should have a single abstract method. Okay, and it can have any number of static methods. Okay, static method m2. Okay, so it can have any number of static methods, it can have any number of default methods also. So I'm taking it as a 3. Okay, m3. So it was allowing more than one static method, so I'm doing same thing. I'm taking it as static methods and then doing it for the default methods. Is m4 and m5. Okay, m4 and m5. Okay, the syntax is not only for the custom function interface, it should be for the predefined function interfaces also. You cannot maintain more than one abstract method in the function interface. Even if we try to write void m6 method, see, it was throwing error. Invalid at the rate of function interface annotation. Custom function interface is not a function interface. Why it is not a function interface? It doesn't meet the basic requirement of the function interface. So what it doesn't meet means the first one is at the rate of function interface. So it meets the first condition and should have abstract method. So it having abstract method, it meets the second condition. But if you see here, m6 is the abstract method, but as per the function interface definition should have single abstract method only. But if you see here you can see two abstract methods, so it should have only single abstract method, it should not have multiple abstract methods. Okay, I'm just removing this one. Now the error is gone. Let me implement the custom function interface. Okay, before that I would recollect with an example of predefined function interface. Okay, so I am doing consumer of type in string, which accepts consumer is the function interface, which accepts single input, that is like a string is the input value, and consumer equal to accept single param, right? So I am taking single param as input and sys out. I'm writing doesn't do anything, right? That's why I'm taking sys out and as I'm porting this one. So I'm taking sys out because consumer doesn't return any value. Okay, I'm printing as it is, whatever I'm getting that only I'm printing here. Okay, and the consumer we are provided abstract implementation of the accept method, right? So that's why we are passing not accept text in by code with rk. So now if you see, consumer is the function interface which takes single value and doesn't return anything. So that's why I'm passing single value as a input, that is of type string, that is bytecode with rk. I'm passing to the consumer. It anyway it will accept string type, right, generic type. So it takes single parameter and returns nothing. That's why I'm just printing the statement. I am not returning anything from the consumer. Okay, this is like a consumer function interface. Okay, if I run this one, you will see, you will get the output because I'm passing the same and also getting the same. So there is no difference. This is like a predefined consumer function. Consumer is the predefined function interface I have implemented for the predefined function interface. Now let us see the custom function interface implementation. We will follow the same way as we followed for the predefined function interface. Here we have created object of the predefined function interface. Same way we will create the object for the custom function interface. Okay, cust function. Okay, so here consumer takes single parameter, right? If you see our abstract method of the custom function interface, it is having abstract method m1. It will also takes a single input parameter, that is of type string. Okay, so I am taking param1 as input because our custom function interface also accepting single parameter, that is of type string. Okay, so that's why I am taking single parameter. And this custom function interface abstract method is of type what, void method. So it doesn't returning anything. Okay, so that's why I'm not returning anything here. I'm just printing the same. I'm writing just a sysort statement. param1. Okay, and I am cust function dot m1 method is the abstract method, so that's why I have selected m1. Welcome to write code with rk. Okay, so how we have created a implemented custom function predefined function interface, like that only I have implemented custom function interface also. We see here I have created an object of the custom predefined function interface. Same way I have created a object for the custom function interface, and consumer is the function interface which takes single value. So my custom function interface also having abstract method, that is m1, which takes single parameter, that is of type string. So for that only I am also taking a single parameter here, and this consumer function interface doesn't return anything. Okay, doesn't return anything. That's why I'm not returning anything. I'm just printing the statements. So and then I'm calling the abstract method by passing string as an input to it. So when I call a cust function m1, then it will call the, then it will execute this lambda style implementation. Okay, it will take the input parameter and just print the input parameter. This is like custom implementation of the you may ask one query like, when we have a consumer which is of type string which takes single parameter, then what is the need of the custom function? It will also take single parameter and doing the same work, right? For example purpose I have given this one. So if you want, you can pass your multiple parameters also. String s1, string s3. So now what it is taking? It was taking two input, three input parameters. Okay, if you see here it is not taking I am passing param 2, param 3. Here this custom function interface takes three input parameters. Okay, three input parameters, that is param 1, param 2, param 3. I'm printing param 1 followed by param 2 and then param 3. Sorry, param 3. Okay, now I need to pass three parameters, right? Now if you see here, I don't need any spaces here, I am giving anyway. Now if you see here, I have it is not similar to the implementation is similar to the any of the predefined functions, but if you see here, consumer takes single input parameter that is of type string. Okay, and if you see our custom function interface, it takes three input parameters, so that's why I'm passing three input parameters, and I'm just doing some concatenation and then returning the same. Here also if you see m1 abstract method, I am calling with the three like passing three input parameters to it. Let me run this one. Now if you see, it behaves differently, so I'm passing extra parameters to the custom function interface. Suppose here also you can pass like this is like a generic type. If you want to add the generic to the custom function interface, you just add of type t. Okay, this is generic type. So in our class, right, it will ask that is of type string. Now if you add generic type, then if you add any generic type to the custom function interface, then in the main class also it will ask the generic type that you are passing as an input. So here if you see here, I am passing input as of type string, so it will accept the string type. It will accept string type. Suppose if you pass here as a integer, see, you are passing generic type, you are accepting as input type as integer, but you are writing here string generic type, so which is like false, right? So if is method m1 which accepts three integer types in the custom function interface of string, so it was a string type custom function interface, but you are passing input as a integers, that's why it was throwing, it is not applicable for the argument type string. Okay, you may see here clearly. See, the method int in the custom function interface of string is not applicable for the argument type string. So you are passing int into three into types as the input parameter, but if this custom function interface is of type string, and that's why it is not applicable, because you are passing integers and it was accepting string types. So now I have changed integer to string. Now it is not throwing any error. Okay, and also our custom function interface is if you want, you can change. If you want any return type, means you can make it as something. I want to make it as integer. Okay, so it accepts three. Now the method m1 accepts three input parameters which is of type string and returns integer. Okay, if you see here, it was throwing error because nothing I have written, right? I don't have any return statement for this, that's why it was throwing error. I should return some value here. Return param 1 dot length plus param 2 dot length plus param 3 dot length. So what I am returning, I am taking three input parameters and I am finding the length of the each string and then adding counting the total string length, and then returning the each. I am finding the each string length and adding all the string lengths and doing the addition for all the string lengths and returning the value. Okay. Custom functional interface. Custom function interface which takes of string type, that's why I am passing three parameters, that is welcome is one parameter, to is one parameter, bytecode with arc as other parameter. Totally three parameters I am passing to the m1 method, which is of type string. If you see the custom function interface, it m1 is accepting three input parameters of type string and returning integer type. So if you see, it should return integer type. Integer type is like I'm finding the length of each parameter and doing the addition of the length of the each parameter. So I'm finding param1 dot length plus param2 dot length plus param3 dot length. So it will return integer type. Length will be integer, right? So it will return the integer type. Now let me run this one. See, I am getting 25 as the length. It was returning the length of the three input parameters we passed to the M1. For the custom function interface, if you are passing, you see here the custom function interface which takes a generic type, right? T of type. If you want to return some value also, you can pass generic type also. So in that case, it should not be int, it should be R. Okay, so now you will pass this custom function interface takes generic type T and returns R type. Okay, so it was you want to return integer, right? Now you see, it takes input value and it returns the integer value. Okay, you can also like change it to three parameters you are taking, right? Change T comma U comma V. You see, T and T, U, V are the three input parameters. Either you can use a single generic type for all the three types of the input parameters, or else you can pass separate also. U comma V. Now so I can change it to T, I can change it to U, I can change it to V. Okay, now when you pass a single, right, it will take all the input types as of T type. When you pass different generic types, then it will accept the different types of the generic types. Okay, so now if we see here, because why it is throwing error means I have written single only. Earlier we used only T, right? T reference type, only T alone we is the reference type. Now we pass three input generic types as input. Now we'll go to here, we should add three more parameters here, string and then string. Now if you see here, it was accepting three input types as a generic, that is of type string. If you want, you can change it to integer also, one more parameter, integer. No, it will not throw error, but you need to pass the input parameter as some value 10, and you don't need to pass, sorry, since I am passing integer value, right, I don't need the length of the integer value. For that integer value, that's why I have changed. Now if we run this one, I will get 20, because welcome is 7 and 2 is the 3. 7 plus 3 and 10 plus 10, 20 you will get. Okay, this is like this is the way of writing the custom function interfaces with the generic types. So far we have seen what is custom function interface, how we will implement the custom function interface, and custom function interface with void method, custom interface with single parameters and multiple parameters, and generic type custom function interfaces, and return value custom function interfaces. So when should we go for the custom function interface means wherever you don't feel that predefined function interfaces are not suitable for the scenario, that case we should go for the custom function interfaces. So that is all about the custom function interfaces. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Click on the bell icon. See you in the next session with a new topic. Thank you.